So Joe, here we are then, beside the door sculpture. It's 8th of March 2008. So that's 17 years it's been here. So could you just tell me the story behind how this piece of sculpture ended up here?
That piece of sculpture, I was in Paddy Dunn's, he's the jeweller. Had some work done in there with him. I made some jewellery. And his wife said to me, would you make us a door?
His wife,
what for?
Marion.
Marion said, yeah, that's Marion. That's it. Would you make us a door? I said, what for? I said, well, for Women's Day for the United Nations. Certainly, I said. So she said to me, I said, what do you want exactly? She said, we want a door about 3 foot on a plinth. Oh, I said, we've got to go bigger than that, love. I said, they're building this complexes around here and they should be able to give us money for that. And they went out, the women went out. I didn't go for any money, they went for everything. They done everything. Got the architect. I had to have an architect drawn for the corporation. So they done all that. They done all the ins and outs and everything else and all the hotting and trotting. I done nothing like that. That was the best thing about it. I had nothing to do with it. Anything I asked for, they got it. They'll do it. And I always wanted to do a woman. I wrote a poem one time about a woman walking the doors. And it's this exactly. And the idea of the head. That's my wife. Who else's head could I put in there? I couldn't put anybody else's wife's head in there, so I put Anne's, that's my wife. That was her when she was about 19, 20. That's a profile, it was a full head at home of the whole lot of it. And the script on it is hope. It's in Gaelic too. Freedom. That's outside people are telling you to get away from her. Look, other girls say you shouldn't be doing that. And on the other side, we have negative thought. We have negative thought, shame that, he's saying, now, what would you be? You'd be no good for that, and all that carry on. So, outside is hope, inside there's no hope, if you listen to them. So as you can see, the plaque has it in Gaelic and also has it in English.
Yeah, and it tells you then that it was commissioned on behalf of the Ringsend Action Project and the Domestic Violence Working Group. So it was five women were on the committee, weren't they?
Yes,
I have their names.
You have the names
here. Linda McMahon, Marion Dunn, who you mentioned, Catherine Gorman, Mary Dent, and Aileen Foran. So
that's right.
They were the women that you dealt with.
Yeah, and I made a piece of jewellery to go with that. I gave them all a piece of the door, as I call it. And that's the significance is that women walk in the doors with their head. They say, oh, I hit my head off the door. And that's where the heads are in it. And as you see around here, there's no knocker on the door. There's no letterbox. There's no keyhole. You don't need to knock to get in. It's open. You don't need a letter. You don't have to post this letter to say you're coming. It's open. You don't need a key. It's open. And that's what it says here. The door is always open.
The door is always open. Yeah. So it's slightly ajar.
Well, that's
on purpose.
Yeah, on purpose is like that. It's always there for you to walk in. There's no one stopping you from walking in, getting rid of the trouble you have if you want to do it. And that's the thing. That's what it was for you. Leo Higgins helped me. Leo Higgins, Lord rest Leo Higgins, the foundry. He gave me very limited time to make it.
You had about 6 weeks, didn't you?
Very limited time to make it. And I went to Leo Higgins, he had a foundry. And he's died since. Smashing foundry man. And he got 2 of his men. He said, you've got to do this. I said to him, it's got to be done in 6 weeks or something. He said, can't do that. I said, it has to be done. So he put these 2 men on, nothing else but doing that. I had to make the door, I had to make the frame, things like that, something all come together. I had to get out the heads and all. And he done it, that's what he done. Leo Higgins was a great man for that. Great man for helping you out in art.
Can you tell me about the actual making of the door? Because I remember you told me, I think it had to be done in 2 parts, was it? Or?
Yeah, it had to be, first of all, I had to make the frame. I had to make the frame out of timber. You have to have a model, you have to have a model to make. It had to be made out of timber. That had to be all that had to be all cast then, put into wax. Then melted out and then into clay to be melted out, to make the thing. And then it has to be put back together again. And everything has to be done individually. Like the head had to be done individually. And that was the way it is.
And there was a joiner in East Wall who helped you, wasn't there?
Yes, Anthony Brennan in East Wall, he helped me with the door because that's his work, joinery. He got into it. What I said to him, he said the very same thing. I can't do that now. I said, I have to have it. So when everybody heard what it was for, abused women, they said it. And I think, I've been trying to research, it's the only outside sculpture shown about abused women anywhere, I think, in the world. There's plaques, there's little things like that, but this is a standing sculpture. And the women here should be very proud that they have that, to say that we object to women being abused. They were the ones that wanted to put it up. And they worked very hard to get the money for it, and very hard for every single thing, even with the corporation, the council, worked very hard with them. They weren't very helpful in times, you know.
There was an awful lot of work that had to get into getting the funding and getting it up in time.
Yes, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know all about getting the funding. They done all that. They told me to make it. We look after everything else, and they did. Even when I wanted this foundation put in, they done all that. They went to the builder and got that all done. They went to the architect. You had to have an architect's drawings to show the corporation, right? And then the funny thing was that it was going up on the Wednesday, and I think Catherine went to the council and said, this is going up. And they turned around and said, you get permission off the Parks Commission. She's going out on the road, but you have to, because it's some idiotic. She said, that's going up. And I went up. We had it up on the Wednesday. And that's what it's about. That's what the whole thing, I love it. I love it to say the statement, what the statement is about. I love it for that, you know. I think the people around here should be very proud to have this in their community. There's nowhere else has one. No one else has. All the women get up to say, you see, it's abuse against women. And if the abuse against women affects the children later on.
The writing on the door, I remember you telling me, I think one of your sons helped you with the translations.
Oh yeah, Joseph speaks Gaelic. You see, when this all happened, I was after having that stroke. And as I say, I'm semi-dyslexic from that. And he had to do all that. Joseph done all the Celtic work and all that, and all these things on the door, what they meant and all that. I couldn't do that. So I got help from lots and lots of people, not just me, it's a whole group of people that helped me with it, you know. You just couldn't, you have to have someone to help you. When you do a thing for that such time, you need a lot of people helping you. Anthony Brennan, the joiner, was very good. And Leo Higgins. Leo was the best. Leo Higgins was absolutely the best. Helped me, and his workers, and the workers in the foundry, they done exactly what was to be done.
So it's a sculpture that means a lot to you.
It means a lot because I used to play football down here in Ringsend, in the park, as a kid. And I always fancied this building, the Art Deco building. I loved it as a kid. You know,
the Ringsend Library.
And it's an ideal here, you know. I love that shape of that building, the Art Deco. We're losing so many of them, but that's a beautiful place, you know. As a kid, I loved that building. We come up that road there to get the bus here. The bus stop was here, actually, outside the thing here. I used to come up.
And I've seen footage of you speaking on the day when this was launched. And
yes.
You mentioned that you, at the unveiling, that you wanted to try and complement the lions in the building of Ringsend Library.
Because it's square. You know what I mean? It's square. The building is square. Art Deco is neat, and I want the square. I want the idea of it that way. And I didn't want to put face on. I wanted it on an angle. It was squared on. It's just too static. Once it's at an angle, it's much better. It's movement. It's moving all the time. But I'd like to get it repatriated. I can't afford that.
And we just see, for the first time, there's a bit of graffiti on it.
That was the first time. That's the first
I've never seen graffiti on it before.
No.
And I remember you telling me years ago that you were very proud.
I was very proud. I mean, that's up there since when did you say?
17 years.
There you are. There's only this on here.
And it says, Jesus and Christ Lord.
Yeah, well,
Jesus and Christ Lord.
Maybe some girl wrote that. She's saying it about herself. She's trying to get attention. You know, there's no other mark on it except weather.
Well, I remember you saying when I interviewed you a few years ago at the Sean O'Casey Community Centre, you mentioned that some women had said to your daughter that they assumed you'd beaten your wife.
That's it. Yeah. When we were here talking, and when it was unveiled, and these two women were saying, he must have bet his wife. She's feeling sorry. She went mad. Yeah, that's right. She went mad. My father didn't do that. They said he must have bet his wife. He's been sorry now. He's putting this up to her. Because when I said my forehead was in it, I presumably thought that, I was recognising her, Yeah, that's right, yeah. And then another woman thought, I had the maquette here. A woman thought that was what they were going to do. The maquette was only 9 inches. She thought that's what was going up on a plaque, It is a fine piece of work. I must say so myself. It has volume in it. I mean, when people go by and they can't but know why is the women's head in the door. They can't but know that. You know what I mean? You see a fellow with a gun, he's a soldier, kneeling down or so. He's firing the gun. But when a woman's head is in that, why is it in that? It's in that because her head was pushed into the door. Yeah? And that's what that is about. Yes. Poor Annie. I know what she's saying to me now. People marking on her. Oh, she'd enjoy that. But she loved that. She hated the men that done them things. Hated them. She had no time for anybody that does abuse to any people. In any shape or form.
And now she's immortalised in bronze.
She's immortalised in bronze, yeah. Oh. That was a long time ago. A long time ago I done that head. So she was 19 or 20. Oh.